What's up, Rep Nation? Thanks for dropping by today. Hey ladies, what have you encountered that you hated as being a female motorcycle rider in regards to men treating you differently? I really want to know down in the comments, and like this video if you've ever encountered any of the following things. You would not believe some of the things that I have encountered while riding my motorcycle. It just gives us a bad name and it encourages toxicity in the motorsports community. And stick with me until the very end because I've got one story in particular that's literally gonna make your jaw hit the floor. It did me. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm gonna touch on, we don't all ride 300cc bikes. Now, those of us who do, don't assume that we putt around town on those 300cc bikes. I know a few women in particular that rock the 300 class bikes. Don't automatically assume, number one, that we ride 300cc bikes or that we ride small bikes, and don't automatically assume that we are slow, because there are some of us who will leave you in the dust. Someone came up to me on Blood Mountain way before my crash, and he looked at my XSR 900 and he asked, "Hey, is that a 300? I was like, "No, it's a 900. And he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he just walked off. That was kind of funny for me, I'm not gonna lie, but it gets kind of old after a while. Looking at a woman on a bike and assuming that she's on a small bike. So guys, let's go ahead and get over that, because we can ride 600s and liter bikes just as well as you can. The next thing I'm going to touch on is assuming we ride for attention. I am extremely passionate about riding my motorcycle. It's the only thing that makes me feel truly alive. Personally, I've been accused of riding my motorcycle just for attention, just to get guys to, I don't know, appreciate me, just to get guys to, look at me. No, sweetheart, I'm passionate about riding for me, not for you. I don't give a crap what anyone else thinks about me on my motorcycle. I do it for me. Yes, there are women out there who do ride their motorcycles for attention, but they are very few and far between. So don't go and assume that all women ride just for attention, because 99.9% of women motorcycle riders, we love it for us. We don't do it for anyone else. Okay, so my next point, don't treat us any differently than you would treat your guy friends, because that's all we are. We're not guys, obviously, because, we got tits, but don't go and ask us if we're married. Don't go and automatically assume that we don't know what we're doing or that we don't know how to do maintenance on our bike. Talk to us just like you would anyone else with balls that ride a motorcycle. Unsolicited advice, no one likes it. So don't go to the woman that's on a sport bike and assume that we don't know what we're doing. If we need advice, if we want it, we're going to ask for it. No one likes unsolicited advice. Please stop doing that. And if you do have a habit of giving out advice without someone asking for it, just think twice before you do it, whether it's a man or a woman, because no one likes for people to underestimate their skill. If they want help, they're going to ask for it. Mansplaining is the explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. That happens a lot in the motorcycle community. Don't walk up to a woman and automatically assume that she doesn't know the proper riding techniques, or she doesn't know proper bike maintenance, or she doesn't do anything by herself. Don't walk up to a couple and only talk to the man while there's a woman standing there, because more than likely the woman knows what she's talking about. And if she doesn't know what she's talking about, she's probably going to ask someone to explain a little bit farther. Guys, stop mansplaining. It really gets old. So before I get to my last point here, which really grinds my freaking gears whenever a man comments on this, I'm going to share a story with you. And this type of judgment and this type of action from men to women in the motorsports industry needs to stop. And it's kind of crazy that this happened. This happened back in 2010, but this still happens every day in the motorsports industry. We are expected to be a sexualized object to men in the motorcycle industry. This female racer stepped away from a racing team because her racing team negotiated with the magazine to have her pose topless without her consent. So when she found out, she stepped away and she didn't race again for 4 years. It's just crazy to me how women are still profiled, and we're still expected to pose provocatively, and we're still expected to appeal to men in the industry, and it's just sick. It just really is. I'll never be posing naked or topless or anything for this industry. It's just not me. Some women do. Good for them. Yeah, you know, they can do what they do. We should not be expected to do that. So read the full article down below in the description for yourself. Let me know how you feel about it, because I didn't know what to feel. My jaw hit the floor and I was just appalled at the article. Now on to the last topic that really, really ticks me off, is the topic of chicken strips. If you're not familiar with the chicken strip, it's the side of the tire that's unused. So the used portion of the tire in the middle is darker than the outside portion that's not used. That's all chicken strips are, really. And the wider they are, the less tire you're using. But that is not an indication of your talent as a motorcycle rider. Now, as a female motorcycle rider and a track rider, I can say I used to have no chicken strips on my tires before my accident. I would push the tire to the absolute limit and not have any tire in reserve for if shit hits the fan. I have learned not to do that now. I guarantee that I will always have chicken strips on my motorcycle on the street. The track is completely different. The track, I get rid of them in like 2 sessions. But on the street, don't automatically assume that we are not good riders because of chicken strips. And that applies to not just women, but men too. Chicken strips are so freaking stupid. Like the topic of that. The purpose of a chicken strip, you don't want to use your full tire on the street because you want a little bit of a tire in reserve if you need to make mid-corner adjustments. Stop assuming that women who have chicken strips don't know how to ride. And that applies to men too. So guys, please let me know down in the comments, how do you feel about these things? And women, go ahead and like this video if you've ever encountered any of these before. And if you haven't, let me know what your experience has been in the motorcycle community thus far, and how long have you been riding? I've been riding for 3.5 years, and I've encountered all these things before, if not a little bit more. Thanks so much for watching today, and please remember, ride safe and be nice to each other, because you never know what other people are going through.